can a company force you to work on a public holiday? Okay, not to say force. But in the Employment Act, it does states that based on the business needs, the company can compel you to work on a public holiday. Hello everybody, welcome to another episode of Get Ready With Me. Today I'm going to talk about a favorite subject among Malaysians, public holidays. Malaysian favorite subject is also a very complicated subject. You will learn while I will explain it in a while. Okay, first of all, in our country, the labor law at this moment of time is very divided. We have Employment Act that covers Semenanjung Malaysia and Wilayah Persekutuan Labuan. Then we have Sarawak under Sarawak Labour Ordinance. Then you have Sabah, which is under Sabah Labour Ordinance. So there are three different labour laws. And one of the very significant terms and conditions inside these three laws, right, is public holidays. Betul. So Sabah has a different policy, Sarawak has a different policy, Semenanjung Malaysia and Labuan has a different policy. So today I am primarily going to focus about Employment Act, which covers Semenanjung Malaysia and Wilayah Persekutuan Labuan. Okay? So first question. Auntie, what is the minimum requirement of public holiday in Malaysia? Okay, good, very simple, basic question. Now, in the Employment Act, it covers, it says that the minimum public holiday is only 11 days. I know kan, especially in Selangor, you got 18, 19 holidays kan, but only 11 days is the minimum. The company not necessarily need to recognize all holiday. Meanwhile, in Sabah, it is 14 days. And in Sarawak, is 16 days minimum. Different, okay? Now, among these 11 public holidays in Malaysia, that is mandated in Semenanjung, right? Out of these 11 days, got 5 holidays you cannot choose, which is National Day, Agong's birthday, state holiday. So this is like your Sultan's birthday, for example, or Federal Territory Day. Then you have Labour's Day and Malaysia Day. The balance 6 holiday, the company can select. So that is why sometimes like recently Raya kan, I have some of the followers come and ask me, Auntie, is it correct that company only recognize 1 day of Raya and not 2 days of Raya? It is possible because in that particular Kedekut company, they only recognize 1 day Raya as a public holiday. Okay? Now, when it comes to Sabah and Sarawak pula, there are only 4 mandatory holidays, which I personally find very funny. So out of the 5 holidays in Semenanjung and Malaysia that is compulsory, the one that is not compulsory for Sabah and Sarawak is Malaysia Day, which I personally find so funny, because Malaysia Day is to celebrate Sabah and Sarawak join Malaya, right? But it's compulsory for Semenanjung to celebrate, but it's not compulsory for Sabah and Sarawak to celebrate. But that is the law, okay? Now, next question. Oh, this is a good question. Auntie, then how about additional holidays declared by government? Can the company say government holiday is not a recognized holiday? Super good question. Now, when it comes to government, there are 2 types of government. You got state government, then you got federal government, different government. State government is normally, the public holiday is when your particular state only that state want to recognize the holiday. Contohnya lah, very common kan. Johor kan, selalu menang football kan. That is a state holiday. When it comes to state holiday, it is not mandated by law for the company to recognize. However, federal holiday, which are holidays that are declared by the Prime Minister. Under Holiday Act 1951 Section 8, it says that the Prime Minister can appoint special days to be observed as additional bank holidays or public holidays in Semenanjung, Malaysia or Labuan. So in Semenanjung, Malaysia or Labuan is cannot. Whenever Prime Minister cakap cuti, then everybody kena cuti. Then you're gonna ask me, Auntie, then how about Sabah and Sarawak? When Prime Minister say cuti, Sabah and Sarawak cuti bersama tak? Oh, tak pula. Because you have to remember, Sabah and Sarawak is under Labour Ordinance, different set of law. The Prime Minister power is up to Semenanjung, Malaysia or Labuan only. That is why kan, when PM declare holidays, you guys kena tunggu sekejap dulu. You have to wait for a while. Then the Sarawak government will follow. Then the Sabah government will follow. As long as they don't announce it, the public holiday is not confirmed. Okay, next. Okay, next one. Oh shit, I always keep forgetting. I keep arranging it. Okay. I just realized kan, talk about public holiday so excited kan. I lupa simpan makeup lagi. Anyway, before you guys put on makeup, this is something I learned from other beauty influencer. They say make sure your face is moisturized first. So recently, I found this brand QV Face oil-free moisturizer. It is so good. Then some of my followers come ask me, Auntie, you already put moisturizer on your face. You won't feel sticky, man, when you put on makeup. Amazingly, this one, no, you know, it's not sticky at all. I will demonstrate. As you see, I get ready while I'm on baby pasal public holiday. So first of all, you prep the face, okay? Make sure it's all moisturized so it can be ready to put on colors, okay? Okay, coming back to public holiday, next question. Auntie, what does HR need to do to make sure they limit the public holidays? Very pandai, this person. In order for the company to limit the public holiday, which means your company is super kedekut, they only want to do the 11, 14, 16 days, depending which state you are, right? What you bosses need to do, before the year starts, you have to put up a notice in a conspicuous place, which means it has to be in a place where everybody can see what is the company's gazetted public holidays. So sekarang sudah modern kan, nowadays we don't have notice board anymore. So in a lot of companies, instead of using notice board, it also can be in the form of intranet. Like you guys have a list of public holidays, you can put it in the intranet or you can put it in an email circular. But it has to be before the year start. So, contohnya kan, if you guys want to limit the 2026 holiday, before 1st January 2026, you need to tell everybody what is the holiday you are going to observe. Now, what if your company does not have this list of gazetted holiday? Then it is understood by law, the company recognizes all holidays, including state holidays. Macam tu. Okay, next. Well, this is a very good question. Auntie, for the 6 gazetted public holidays, can the company say they change it to another day, but instead of the holiday? Like for example, they say that I can take my 2 days Chinese New Year leave after Chinese New Year. What is this? Take Chinese New Year leave after Chinese New Year. Huh? Can. There is a clause in the Employment Act that states that if the company feel there is a business exigency, they want to tell you that I want to change this public holiday to another day. With the consent of the employee, they can change the public holiday dates. Okay, next. This one do I want to say? I macam hesitate I want to say. A lot of people ask me, Auntie, if I sick on public holiday, does the company need to replace the public holiday? I don't want to answer this, okay? You guys go Google and find out. Because this law is one of the many laws in the Employment Act that I personally don't agree. Okay, next! Auntie, HR said I tak datang kerja after public holiday. So, dia tolak gaji I 2 hari. Betul ke? I tak datang 1 hari je. I know what happened. You MIA on the day after public holiday kan? And then HR decided that you are not going to be paid the public holiday too. So the public holiday you don't get paid, and the day after you MIA you also don't get paid. That's why they tolak 2 hari instead of 1 hari. I have bad news for you. The Employment Act states that if you have leave of absence without permission, the day before and the day after the public holiday, it's correct. This public holiday can be forfeited. So if you guys go missing on a day before or after the public holiday without approval, it is stated in the Employment Act, in the SLO, also it's very clear. You will not be entitled to the public holiday. That is why you cannot deduct 2 hari instead of 1 hari. Macam tu. Okay, next! Oi, this one. Public holiday pay is one of the frequently asked questions. Auntie, I work on a public holiday. How much do I get paid? This is coming back to the complicated situation. There are terms and conditions when it comes to paying you on public holiday. First, we need to understand whether you qualify for the public holiday or not. In Semenanjung, Malaysia, or Wilayah Persekutuan Labuan, to qualify for public holiday, rule number 1, if you are not a manual worker, your salary cannot be higher than 4,000 ringgit. If ngam 4,000, still okay. But lebih than that, you are not protected by the public holiday laws. And in Sabah and Sarawak, that 4,000 benchmark is lowered down to 2,500. So I covered that one. What if your salary is above 4,000 and 2,500 in Sabah and Sarawak? That one means it's not necessary for the company to compensate you for public holidays. So most company, what they do, right, they will replace the holiday instead. Then you're going to ask me, kan, Auntie, so they're going to replace 2 days or 1 day? It's 1-to-1. Dia tidak ada macam like bagi you 2 kali, tak ada. Normally the replacement holiday is 1-to-1. You work on that day, they will replace that 1 holiday on it. Now, how to calculate if you're entitled to holiday pay? Now, when it comes to holiday pay, first we need to establish the fact whether do you have a basic salary or not. Which means you have a basic monthly salary. A lot of people are very confused about this ×2, ×3, triple pay or double pay. Now, you need to remember, if you get a basic salary, you have a basic salary, your basic itself is ×1. You already have 1 pay there. So, when you say you are triple payer, it means that the company have top up another 2 times. You get what I mean? 1 basic plus they top up another 2 times. So it becomes 3 times for normal working hours. And when it comes to public holiday, the overtime comes in 1 block. What does I mean by 1 block, right? it doesn't matter whether you guys work 1 hour or you work the full 8 hours on that day. They have to pay you minimum 2 times of your daily salary. And your daily salary is your monthly salary divided by 26. So for that particular day, if you work on a public holiday for the first 8 hours, you will get minimum payment, monthly salary divided by 26 times 2. Like that. Now, if you overtime on a public holiday, which means, let's say you got your normal working hours is 8 hours, right? And you overtime on the 9 hour, that is when they have to top up 3 times. For every hour after the normal working hours, you get 3 times your hourly rate. So the formula is also fixed. Your basic salary divided by 26 divided by 8 times 3. This is a fixed formula in the Employment Act. But if your company wants to pay more, because some of you will come and ask me, Auntie, I don't work Saturday, Sunday, the company divide by 22 days, divide by 24 days. It's okay. It's okay. They want to pay more, it's okay. But the minimum is to divide by 26. Macam tu. Now, if you are like a part-timer, part-timer are also entitled to public holidays. If you guys are a part-timer, you are normally paid an hourly rate, correct? So you don't have a basic salary. If you guys are on an hourly rate, then straight away they will times 3. Macam tu. Okay, next. You guys can understand all these public holiday rates. I think you can. Comes to money, everybody will understand. Auntie, a public holiday falls on a Saturday. Can the company don't replace that public holiday? I have to make some assumptions. I assume that your normal working day is Monday to Friday, and Saturday and Sunday you don't work. Because in a lot of companies, then Saturday is a normal working day. Okay? So I assume the person who asked this question, Monday to Friday is normal working day, Saturday off day, Sunday rest day. Okay? Now, in the Employment Act, it states that if you have 2 rest days in a week, right? If you work a 5 days week, you got 2 rest days, is the second rest day is only counted as rest day. So in a lot of companies or like HR, right, in order not to confuse everybody, what is the first rest day, second rest day, right? What we do is we will term the 6th day as an off day and the 7th day as a rest day. Why we do this? Because of this one. Because the Employment Act states that only the rest day needs to replace. If the public holidays falls on an off day, which is the 6th day, it is not mandatory by law for the company to replace the holiday. So in your particular case, darling, unfortunately, I want to tell you it's correct. The company doesn't need to replace the public holiday. But I do know some very large MNC, they are very nice. They will replace it on a Friday. But that is entirely up to the company to give extra off days. Okay, next! Oh my God, another complicated one. Auntie, what happens if 2 holidays is on the same day? Do we get a replacement? This is complicated, you know why? Again, this one depending which particular state you are from. Sabah, Sarawak is different. Semenanjung, Malaysia and Labuan is different. Okay? Now, in accordance to the Employment Act, we cover Semenanjung, Malaysia and Labuan first. There is a clause, section 60D1. It states that if any public holiday falls on another public holiday, which means they bertindih kan, then the company needs to replace the second holiday. They need to replace the one of the holiday following the second holiday. So in layman terms, which means you get today and tomorrow the holiday. If it's 2 holiday together, you will get 2 days holiday. Only applicable in Sabah, in Semenanjung, Malaysia or Labuan, because this particular clause that replace the holiday doesn't exist in the Sabah or Sarawak Labour Ordinance. Then you remember last year kan? Last year, Malaysia Day and Prophet Muhammad birthday bertindih kan? Then there is this red color announcement from cabinet.gov.my that is circulating around the internet that says that there is no replacement holiday and everybody huru-hara about it. Okay. Employment Act is cater for private sector employees. For government servants, they have their own set of labour law, which is determined by the government, by the cabinet.gov.my. So if you are in Semenanjung, Malaysia or Labuan and you are a government servant, then you also don't get it if the government go announce that red color. If you are like most people who work in the private sector, this announcement has no effect on you. You will still get the replacement holiday. Macam tu. Then, another thing I want to highlight, you need to remember like what I tell you guys earlier, not every holiday is a mandatory holiday. So the last year punya example is a very good example, right? It's Malaysia Day and Prophet Muhammad's birthday. In Semenanjung, Malaysia, Malaysian Day is compulsory, but not Prophet Muhammad birthday. In order for you to get 2 days instead of 1 day, the company also need to recognize Prophet Muhammad birthday as a gazetted public holiday. You guys think about it, Confused sudah kan? Never mind, you rewind, then you think about it. Okay, next. I work in a call center, so I am scheduled to work on a public holiday all the time. If I'm not able to work on a public holiday, HR said we must apply for leave and annual leave will be deducted accordingly. Is that legal? It's not legal lor. Public... you kerja call center mana ni? It's not legal. Okay. This one I understand. This is not only limited to call center, right? This one can be also common with shift workers, like if you are in F&B or you are in retail or in logistic, right? Where you guys are expected to work on a public holiday. Kan? And then, so I have to address that part first. Can a company force you to work on a public holiday? Okay, not to say force. But in the Employment Act, it does state that based on the business needs, the company can compel you to work on a public holiday. Especially if you work in industry which is well known that you need to work on a public holiday. Like for example, call centers, logistic, F&B, retail, all those kind of business. It's understood when you enter this kind of industry, you are required to work on a public holiday. So, what happened is that it is quite common that they will put up a schedule, right? And in the schedule, they will tell you you are on duty on public holiday. So what happened is that they said that if you cannot work on that particular day, you have to apply for permission not to come to work. Hence, they said that you have to apply for leave. However, if they approve you for not coming to attend work on that public holiday, means that you don't have to work on the public holiday and there is no additional deduction for annual leave. Because you guys have to remember, when you guys come to work on a public holiday, you get extra pay. If you don't come, means you don't get extra pay. But you cannot be penalized. In your case, if they deduct your annual leave, they are penalizing you for losing another day in annual leave, which is not legal. Okay, next. Oh, that's it already. That's the last question already. Thank you so much for listening to me today, membebe pasal public holiday. Last but not least, the last touch. Ta-da! If you like to learn more about labor laws and want me to share more contents like this, please comment, like, share, and subscribe. Bye!